Yeah, and you postponed it a week. I had a top 10 list last week, but it's grown to like 27 now.
Top 27 what? Bands or albums?
Bands and their albums.
You know what? We'll just get schooled. Hey, welcome to Clean and Sober Stoner. And today, for once, instead of having, middle-aged guys talking and yapping about the music business, we thought we'd get a real rock star by the name of Jay Ovittore. How do you pronounce your name?
So it's actually Ovittore, because it's Italian.
I am notorious for getting every name wrong.
Rich gets it.
So Jay Ovittore.
I understand. I know exactly how to pronounce his name.
Jay Ovittore from North Carolina's own Holy Roller, and they just released their album Rat King. How's that going for y'all?
Going good. Super excited. The feedback we've been getting from pretty much all across the globe has been amazing.
Yeah.
I had to put a Italian review in Google Translate the other day so I could read it.
Well, congratulations on a killer album. It's definitely in my top few for the year. Lot of 90s. I heard, I swear, I heard a little bit of Helmet. I heard some Screaming Trees type licks. I heard some Soundgarden nods. I think it's a really smart album musically.
Yeah, we explored a little bit. We were certainly driven and angry for this album.
This is an angry fucking album. I'll swear. We don't have Sean, so I'll swear.
I think part of it was we went through a lineup change in the middle of writing, and that disrupted the process. Switching our lead guitar player out that we had on the last album and the EP. I think we tapped into that, and we tapped into some social energy, state of things around us. Adam certainly covered issues like mental health and suicide and all kinds of like really deep issues that if you didn't read the lyrics or know what he's saying, you wouldn't get it.
Yeah, that was my comment. Is on the one hand, it's a fantastic, boogie metal, little Southern fried this and some, but then you listen to the lyrics and it's like, oh, wait a minute, what did he say? It's why it's a great album, and it holds up multiple listens.
Appreciate that. We actually started working on some new material last week, 2 weeks ago. We don't want to wait as long this time. We want to jump right back into the writing blender and see where it goes. And we got some frameworks for about 3 or 4 songs. We'll toss around a little bit and, play with it with each other at rehearsal and try different things and see where, what direction we want to go in. I think it's probably more on the Rat King side of things compared to the stuff we've done before. I think we're exploring some other avenues as well. We fell in love with a band called Rickshaw Billie's Burger Patrol. They're like the heaviest version of Weezer ever.
They're playing down here with the Sword in a couple of weeks. I'm going to try to go check them out.
Definitely go see them. They're amazing live. We opened up for them and Crowbot about a year and a half ago here in Greensboro.
Nice.
And they were on tour with Crowbot. On a weekday night, barely anybody showed up, even for that bill. They definitely weren't showing up because we were on it. But fell in love with Rickshaw Billies, and I think Adam's been listening to a lot of Rickshaw Billies lately because the first song he brought to the table was it could have been a Rickshaw Billy song.
Okay. And Rich, I know this album scored pretty high for you last month.
Absolutely. We just did our Q2 review show on the Rich and Turbo Heavy Half Hour podcast / YouTube channel. And it was Rat King made my top 12 list for Q2 because I love the record, and love my Holy Roller shirt too with the Rat King on it. So totally into that record and what you guys are doing. So,
but what does the Rat King look like?
The Rat King looks like the trash heap from Fraggle Rock. now that I've mentioned it twice, you can't get it out of your head. Go look up the trash heap from Fraggle Rock.
I like how you slipped in Rich and Turbo, say, get the competition in there.
Yeah.
By the way, if you haven't liked and subscribed Rich and Turbo's Heavy Half Hour, you need to. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe here at Clean and Sober Stoner. And don't forget, we do have a membership area where we put in early releases. You get sneak peeks on stuff and exclusive content. $1.99 a month. It just helps us kind of stay afloat, a little.
Well, I mean, without the folks that are listening to, reviewing, and telling people what's new and fresh out there, how our band's going to get heard?
Yeah. That's been a point of debate within the heavy underground lately, and I'm really sensitive to the idea of the role in media. We need more stuff like Rich and Turbo. This is how we get the word out there. I just got back from Asheville, Doomed and Stoned. Man, that was amazing. Where were you guys at that you missed the big event of the year?
Yeah, so a lot of us had to work. I had to work Sunday. I wanted to come up. I'll tell you, my bass player in my other band, that I don't know if I told you guys about yet or not, was up there for the entire weekend.
What other band?
Yeah, what other band?
What other band?
Tease.
I got a little side project. It's kind of like cheating on your wife. With two really amazing guys, all instrumental at this point. So it's Wright, who plays for Temptress, playing bass.
Jesus, are you serious?
Yeah, me on drums, and Patton, who is one of the OG members of I Hate God.
Nice. I was chatting with Christian about coming on the show. Yeah, that's a pretty awesome lineup.
Up and comers.
Yeah, the only way I can describe it so far is if John Zorn and Frank Zappa met a hardcore punk band from New York City in an alley.
I'm down. You already got me. Where do I pre-order?
It's intense. It's definitely challenging me as a drummer.
Congratulations to Temptress. They just got picked up by Blues Funeral.
Yep.
And I got to meet Kelsey from Temptress. She's also one of the guitarists in Slumbering Sun.
Yep.
And folks, Slumbering Sun is my pick to be, boom, crossover, possibly mainstream with some heaviness. They're one of the best live acts I've seen in a while. And I've seen a few, right? So Temptress is just getting all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy how it all worked out. I noticed that Brian was living in town for a little bit. We were just kind of chatting. He said he was looking for some folks. I wasn't looking to be in another band. I kind of put everybody off for about 2 or 3 months and was like, I don't know if I have time. With the whole roller thing going on, it's taking up a bunch of time. I got, 2 hours a day commuting back and forth to work. I don't know when I'm going to fit this in. And now we rehearse like 3 times a week because he lives 5 minutes up the road.
Nice. Okay, and you commute from Durham to Greensboro.
I do. Durham to Greensboro, Greensboro, Durham to Greensboro every day. I just drove through the most torrential rain it took me an hour and 35 minutes today to get home.
God love you. Back when in my methadone clinic days, I supervised 5 clinics here in the state. So I went from Durham to Greensboro all the time. So yeah, that's that little route's a flashback for me.
It's maybe the shittiest drive I've ever had in my life. The drive is terrible. I have rush hour into the sun both ways.
Oh, gross. I can't think of a better way to go, man.
I mean, it gives me a lot of time with unfortunately my Spotify in my car, where I just get to listen to music and, podcasts.
I was going to say, like Clean and Sober Stoner and Rich and Turbo's Heavy. Yeah. And don't forget Howling in the Howls, Stevie Reek.
Yep.
He put out that thing, said he was done. And the response was so overwhelming. I guess he's going to keep it going.
Yeah, look for a collab with he and I soon, hopefully sometime in the next couple of weeks. So got something cooking on the YouTube channel for that. So,
Well, you're just a loose little floozy spending time with everybody.
you know, I like to spread my love around.
That's okay. I'm not going to hit that softball.
That was a very 90s thing to say.
Yes, very.
Yeah, 90s. So I made this ridiculous statement that I still die on that hill. Today's guitar player, let's take Holy Roller, an up-and-coming band. I think pound per pound better than the up-and-coming bands in the 70s. Everybody thinks Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Bad Company, and they forget all of the crappy mid-level bands that faded into obscurity. And then at the very end, Rich throws something about the 90s being the peak area. And we're talking, and then Jay, your name came up, and I'm like, wow, I was just talking to Jay. You two had gotten into a debate, right?
Well, I think when you mentioned 90s, the first name that came to my mind was Jay, after we talked about our love of bands like Quicksand, Rival Schools on his shirt there, talking about Helmet on the, sounding a little bit like Helmet on the record and some of the other grunge bands. And Jay and I think, have very similar tastes in music. So this is more me bringing an ally on to this discussion than it is a debate, though I'm very interested in getting into some of the deep kind of, not your A tier or B tier 90s bands, but starting to get a little deep in there and maybe make Scott's head spin a little bit.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm probably going to be outclassed on this one. Although in the 90s, I did see a little band called Caius opening for Faith No More. So there's some 90s cred right there. That's all I need. I just have to name drop. Boom, Scott Reeder on bass. Nick had just left. They hadn't even started writing Welcome to Sky Valley yet. They were supporting Faith No More.
And what Faith No More tour was that, as we talk about one of my all-time favorite bands, just jumping right in?
That commercial success, that total sellout album, Angel Dust.
Yeah. The weirdest thing ever put on a major label at the time.
No, that would be Primus.
I think Angel Dust came out first on a major, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I would also argue that Angel Dust is still weirder than Primus.
Weirder than Osric Tentacles. I can't wait.
I think weirder, more shocking. I don't know. Jay, I'll ask you your opinion on this.
I can see the look in your face. Angel Dust.
So Angel Dust So first off, we were supposed to do this last week, and I had like a top 10 list of 90s bands, but now it's a top 27 list because bands just keep popping in my head, and I keep going to look up what year the album came out from the 90s. Let me put on the list. Faith No More, Angel Dust is on my list. These are in no particular order.
I was going to say, is this a ranked list? Is it a ranked list? Number one?
The only one that's actually officially ranked where it should be would be Quicksand Slip, and that's at number one. There's, to me, no better album that's come out in the last 35, 40 years. It's my number one favorite all-time album. I have 7 different versions of it on vinyl.
I have never heard of this.
Oh, it's my number 3 album of all time. I did, so like you, I actually did something crazier. I have a top 200 albums of all time list that I did. If you go on my X or Twitter, I have it like pinned there. Staying on Angel Dust before we get into Quicksand. Faith No More is a top 5 band of all time for me. But I think I am the rarity who would say that King for a Day is my favorite Faith No More album.
I have to agree 100%.
Oh, that record is, it was a commercial failure based on what they did on the first 2 records. But, and they took Roddy out from a keyboard standpoint and made Roddy really mad and kind of just went more kind of guitar driven. But, I feel like the band got back to their roots kind of, and just kind of rocked out and forgot about all the commercial stuff. I saw them play at a nightclub on Long Island called Malibu that I used to go to goth night on Thursday nights, and Steel Pole Bathtub opened up. And it was a tiny club, and I just stood there, and I was just this close to Mike Patton. I'm like, this is it. But if I have to go one album for one of my top 5 bands of all time, it would be King for a Day, which is actually my 5th favorite album of all time on my list.
Yeah, it's a good album as well. I just prefer Angel Dust a little bit more. There's some knock it out of the park songs on there. Definitely still in their commercial success period. Coming off probably the massive world tour they had before that, where they just blew up and were playing everywhere.
Yeah.
I got to see them on, I think it was Lollapalooza. They were on one of the Lollapalooza years.
I got
to see them there. And then I recently saw them in Raleigh with, who was the opening band on that? I don't know. Refined?
I have to look to see who was playing with them back then.
I saw them on the latest album they put out. They did a tour, and it was amazing.
Yeah, just a great band,
an amazing band to watch live.
If you knew me in high school, that was Mike Patton was the guy for me. So I had long hair, I shaved underneath, that kind of stupidity.
You had long hair?
Oh, I had really long hair, and I lifted it up and shaved it.
I can put it up here.
I'll share it with you. Absolutely. My third concert of all time was Billy Idol and Faith No More, with Faith No More opening. I think Faith No More played 40 minutes. It was at Jones Beach on Long Island, and we left. I love Billy Idol now, but at the time I'm like, I'm out. I saw Faith No More. Come pick me up, Dad. Ready to go home. Yeah.
I've done that more than once.
Yeah, for the openers. Yeah.
Okay. I do have some obscure 90s stuff.
Please,
but
bring it.
Let me ask a general question. Do you guys both agree that the 90s are probably the single best era for heavy rock and rock in general?
I'd say for me it is. I think it depends on when you were born. The younger generation certainly didn't get into the 90s stuff. They may be getting into it now as they're getting a little older. The same way that I didn't get into the 60s and 70s stuff until I got a little older. But I think it depends on when you're born. I think the 90s had such a diverse list. I got diverse listed here, 27 things.
Incredible. Like my list, when I think of 90s, it goes everywhere from Sepultura and Chaos AD all the way over to a fairly obscure band called 11.
11, love 11. Saw them open. Oh, what did I see them open for? It was a really random band that they opened for. Almost, I want to say like a hair metal band. But 11 was great, and the lead singer passed away of cancer, unfortunately.
Yeah,
the female
Natasha.
lead singer, Natasha. Yeah,
love her. I saw the opening act was Tad.
Oh
no, 11 opened, then it was Tad, then it was Soundgarden, and I saw them at the Greek Theater in Berkeley, and they had a noise ordinance, so they couldn't go over like 100 decibels. So it was the quietest. It's the only concert I'd been to where I didn't need earplugs. That was fine.
Now it's going to bug the shit out of me of who I saw 11 open for. It was an arena show. Like, it was a big arena show that they opened. I think there were 3 bands, and they were the first one to play. I have to go back and look, but 11, great call, Scott.
I love
excellent
11.
work.
Like every year,
the band that opened for Faith No More. It was Refused.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know why I couldn't. I was drawing a blank.
That's a really good.
And they covered they covered a Slayer song during their set. I think they covered Angel of Death, and they knocked it out of the park. Like, for a punk fan, it was great.
The most I got to see Mr. Bungle last year at Welcome to Rockville, and I think I might have told the story on your show, Scott, but it was right before the Insane Clown Posse came on. We had a whole big group hug with a bunch of juggalos. Who's the kid who was like 18 years old? He's like, my dad loves Faith No More and loves Mike Patton, and just starts going on about Mr. Bungle and Fantomas. I'm like, I love you, kid. I'm adopting you, and you're mine now. But the Mr. Bungle was awesome. They played my asses on fire, and I might have had a stroke. There's a video of this that has gone around that is being used as collateral on me. But yeah, Mike Patton, 90s god for me. That was my guy.
Yeah.
So would that be your guys' ultimate 90s band? Would be Faith No More? I'm feeling consensus here.
I don't know, man.
There's so many
Yeah.
on the list. Do you want me to go through my list real quick?
Let's do it. I might stop you as you mention them, though. So
we'll talk about them. I got all night. We can do this all night.
I don't have all night, but we'll go as long as we can.
Cool. So I gave away number one, which was Quicksand, with and Manic Compression. Both came out in the 90s. Both really great albums.
Mm-hmm.
Number two on my list, Rival Schools. United by Fate is my second favorite album of all time. That album's got so many good songs on it. If you haven't figured it out by now, I have a love affair. I have a crush on Walter in the worst way.
The man.
And I got to meet him, and Rich has seen the picture. Number three, this album is, the band on this album was so good. It was his best album in his entire solo career. Rollins Band, Into the Silence.
Hank. Good one. Okay.
That is, I saw them with the next band on my list, and the Lynch Mob, Ice Cube rock band. It was them, Rollins Band, and then my number four, Beastie Boys, Check Your Head. On the Check Your Head tour. I saw them in Raleigh. Same show. It was the most insane lineup.
Beastie Boys is on your list of favorite bands?
It is. Yeah, it's number four on my list. Not in any order, but except for Quicksand. There'll always be number one.
Okay.
If I had to, and this is used to be not a controversial statement, and then it became one, and then it wasn't. But I go Paul's Boutique. If I'm going to pick a Beastie Boys record, that is where I go. Though, Check is a close second, I would say.
Beastie Boys can't do any wrong in my eyes. So any of their music from any genre, any generation of Beastie Boys stuff is fine for me. It's part of the growing up in New Jersey, right outside of New York City. It was beaten into your skull there.
Yep.
Number five on my list, the self-titled album from Handsome. Not Hanson, the Hanson, but Handsome, as in I'm handsome. So Handsome has a Quicksand relation. Tom Capone, who got kicked out of Quicksand for getting arrested at CVS for shoplifting while they were on tour, went on to do this Handsome album, which I finally picked up on vinyl last year for the first time. If you hadn't heard the album yet, definitely give it a listen. It's solid front to back.
On my vinyl want list. I had the CD back in the day.
Yeah, I got it on all white vinyl.
Nice. Excellent.
So number six, and I'm pretty sure that Rich is going to love this, and you might also, Scott, King's X, Faith, Hope, Love.
King's X.
Really?
Another one of my...
It's for a 90s album, yeah.
It's another debate I would have there. I love King's X. I have a gigantic King's X banner in my record room. If I were to pick a record from King's X, it would probably be Ear Candy, which again is not a real popular opinion there. But I also like, and I don't think it came out in the 90s, but I like Mr. Bulbous a lot too. Nobody likes Mr. Bulbous, but I love the Please Come Home, Mr. Bulbous album.
I've got to throw some love to Gretchen Goes to Nebraska.
Gretchen's great.
But not a 90s album.
80s.
89.
Yeah.
I thought the original King's X was 89.
No,
I thought the first album was...
Gretchen was going to go on my list, and I looked it up, and it said 89.
I feel so unworthy right now.
It's okay.
It's borderline. Yeah, it's borderline. It's like saying that Pretty Hate Machine from Nine Inch Nails or The Real Thing from Faith No More is from the 90s. And they're not.
I have that quandary on here as well.
Yeah.
So after King's X, you've mentioned them a few times, Rich. Helmet, Meantime, and Betty. Two fabulous albums. Both of those albums.
And I got to throw Aftertaste there, but Aftertaste was...
It was all right.
Yeah, that was late 90s. It was near the 2000s.
It wasn't Betty and Meantime. That lineup that he had for those two records they were making magic.
With a drummer on this call, the drummer from Helmet, unbelievable for those two records. Aftertaste, I really like. Aftertaste, it would be a fun exercise to find a band that went from this to that so quickly because anything after Aftertaste is a struggle with Helmet, and I don't know why or how. Even their new record, like the lyrics are so cheesy, and like you look at them like in the Meantime video, and you're like, those are the coolest motherfuckers I ever saw.
They were the coolest.
They were, right?
They were.
But then you like see some of the newer stuff, and it's like, what, Paige, what's going on here? But technically, I'm not a guitar guy, but everything I've heard and everything I hear, Paige Hamilton is like
they were one of the loudest bands I've ever heard in my life. I saw them at the Ritz in Raleigh about a year and a half ago. It was J.D. Pincus, Quicksand, Helmet, and Clutch.
I missed that show, and I'm so pissed about it.
Ridiculous lineup.
Yeah.
And Helmet,
I agree with the loudest because I saw them play on the Betty anniversary tour.
Yep.
And I brought people who didn't know what they were getting into, and they all left. I was there by myself because it was so loud. Yeah.
I had that loud experience with Torch.
I'm going to give some love to another loud band, Prong.
There you go.
Beg to differ and prove you wrong. I mean, it was the intro music to Headbangers Ball.
Such a New Jersey guy.
Yeah, I mean,
I love Prong.
How can you not like Tommy Victor, except for when he plays for Danzig?
Yeah, yeah. I saw Tommy play with Ministry, actually.
Yeah. I think Prong is one of the most underrated, underappreciated bands in the entire history of metal. The thing is, for me, it's force fed.
Well, again, I think that was. I don't think that was 90s,
that was
right?
90s.
Was it? Was force fed 90s?
I am looking that sucker up because I don't want somebody
maybe later 90s.
correcting me. Oh no, that one I would have heard like within 2 years of getting sober.
All right.
For me, everything. So I got sober in 1992. So for me, the 90s era, the entire era, is like I'm one of those born again Christian guys. Like my whole life begins at that point.
You were probably rediscovering music at that point, becoming sober, like and enjoying it a different way than you had before.
And, oh boy, do I have the wrong? So Force Fed is 1988.
88. Oh,
was it?
I went again.
Okay. Wrong band. I mean,
Force Fed is great though. It's a great album. Love it.
Another one you'd expect to be on my list. I got Clutch, Transnational, Speedway, and Elephant Riders.
I forget how long Clutch has been out.
Yeah,
I tend to forget that.
Again, love Clutch. If I were to pick one, it'd be the self-titled from the 90s. Yeah. And I was looking. I saw them a couple of weeks ago in Orlando, and the merch guy talked me into buying that record, even though I had it. Because he told me it was a different color than the one I had. He's like, I only have 20 of these.
That's all you got to say to Rich.
Right. So I buy it. It's the same color. But I open it up and I'm looking at them and I'm like, they are so freaking young when that record came out. Yeah. Like they look like they're 15, 16 years old. It's So
I got to open for Clutch. I was in a band called the 5Ls for about 13 years. It was kind of a crossover hip hop rock band. 2 singers, DJ, 2 guitar players, bass player, and myself on drums. And it was a New Year's Eve show at Ziggy's in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, at the old Ziggy's, the outdoor one. Kind of like the place where Great White burned down, like outdoor with a tarp over it. That place had the best shows. And we got to open for Clutch. It was on the Robot Hive Exodus tour.
Wow, nice.
And so it was, we were direct support for them on New Year's Eve. That place was wall to wall, like packed.
Your memory of detail. By the way, I need to go back to Prong. I was wrong. It's Cleansing. Cleansing is the album.
That's a good album.
Like, I didn't know how to be angry in early sobriety. I kept trying to be Mr. Kumbaya, and then Prong came out, and shit got real, yo.
Well, prove you wrong. I mean, all you got to look at is snap your finger, snap your neck.
Yeah.
It doesn't get more angry and violent than that.
Yeah. I can't agree more.
So here, I'm gonna throw a curveball now. Number 10 on my list, Saigon Kick, The Lizard.
Oh, see, here we go. And this is why I love Jay. And I didn't even know that I love Jay. I had Beeler on my show. He was my other hero. when I was growing up, I always wanted to get the bands that nobody really knew, and I'm a sucker for harmonies and kind of Beatles vibes and stuff. I saw the video for What You Say on Headbangers Ball, and I was like, who are these amazing men on my screen? And from the second I saw that video, they became one of my favorite bands. The first record, I love The Lizard. I even love Water. I need them to repress Devil in the Details so I can have Russian Girl on vinyl. Oh, Jay loves Saigon Kick. This makes me so happy.
Yeah, I saw them live in Manhattan. They were pretty freaking amazing live too. Just great songs.
I might have been at that show.
About songwriting, they're just great songs.
Was it with Extreme?
It was with Extreme.
I was at that show. I was at that show in the city. It was amazing. I mean, Extreme was touring for 3. Was it 3? The third record that they had, and it's escaping me the name of the record. No, it was the one after that. It was 3 Tales or 3 Sides to the Story. 3 Sides to the Story. It was that, and it was a little much. But as Scott looks at us, if you, and I don't want to get into this now because I know you have opinions on it, but if you watched the Sabbath show a couple weekends ago, Nuno Bettencourt played in the All-Star Bands, and that guy, I already knew, but that guy is a guitar wizard like nobody else. Beeler is too. I love Beeler, and I always joke around with Beeler. I say Beeler or Nuno, and because I think they're buddies. But you watch that Sabbath thing, he just goes from style to style, to song, like it's just naturally coming out of his fingers. So
I've seen him. He was on Saturday Night Live with a R&B or hip hop artist one time
Rihanna.
Playing guitar.
He's Rihanna's guitar player now.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Rihanna.
Yeah.
Jay, Rich, you keep throwing these things out. You say your piece, and invariably it's wrapped in a bubble of, but we don't want to get into this now. Right? So I'm going to be talking. Gypsy and I are going to be, she's coming back. She's going to be back on the channel. I miss Gypsy. Love working with her. We're going to talk about the show. And I simply was not the target audience for that show. That's the heavy metal that I simply it's not my thing. But I love and respect, that, yay, Metallica. The worst version of Hole in the Sky I've ever heard in my life. Those white boys have no groove to them. None. Well, and I keep seeing they rave about, they played Hole in the Sky. They butchered that song. That was horrible.
Look, Guns played Junior's Eyes.
I'm a firm Lars hater. I think he's the sloppiest piece of shit drummer there is.
Right.
Like, there was some good stuff back in the day. He definitely, broke some barriers down for some drummers, but then he just got sloppy when he got rich.
Yeah.
And like even Adam from Holy Roller went and saw the Metallica show in Charlotte just recently on the tour. And he was really psyched. He'd never seen him before. And he came back. He's like, "You're right about Lars. He's fucking sloppy."
Trujillo cannot save Metallica.
No.
Kirk has no groove. Hetfield has no groove. It's all boom, 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 on the 1 and the 3. And
if you put a different drummer in Metallica, they would be fantastic.
We nominate you, Jay Ovittore.
I would do it because it would make me rich and I can quit my job and stop driving from Greensboro to Durham and back.
Anyway,
this
the
is
Metallica
my fault
fans
for
had their day.
Yeah,
and
nothing
but love to the Metallica fans, the Slayer fans, the Tom Morello fans. Dave Draymond can kiss my ass. Why they allowed him on that stage is beyond me. The band that does War Pigs and they let a piece of shit like Dave Draymond on, what the hell? Other than that, I have no opinion.
Anyway, let's get back to Saigon Kick because that makes me happy. What else you got, Jay?
I got some other curveballs in here. I'm going to keep going down the list.
I'm not done. No. Why Saigon Kick? Because as soon as you say that band, I equate them to Tigers of Pantang. Like it was that mid-level, didn't quite hit the hair band phase. What am I missing with Saigon Kick? And why should everybody watching this listen to that album?
they
go
weren't
first, Jay.
necessarily hair bands. They were definitely more talented than that. The songwriting on that album is spectacular. Like, if you want to hear good songs, put on the Lizard.
So I'm hearing songs, melody, musicianship.
Beeler is top tier guitar player, no doubt about it. And to me, they had these intricate harmonies as well in their vocals that you don't get with it. Think of King's Xe with those kind of harmonies, except they're bigger and they're louder and there are more of them. They were, I think, and I mentioned this to Beeler too, and he doesn't ever shy away from the fact that his big hit, kind of allowed him to do everything else that he's done in his life. But you watch the video for like What You Say, they don't look like a hair band, they look like Alice in Chains. They really do. They just happen to have long hair during a time when MTV was playing those hair bands, and they have a ballad, so that also gets them sucked into that. But
yeah, I think it's the ballad that sucks it in, which is why, like, I'm not a gatekeeper. I have really strong opinions, but I surround myself with people who disagree with me and have different perspectives. I generally, like, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to listen to, I won't remember. So send it to me, Rich, and I'll make sure I listen to it. And next month, the next time we do Full Metal Banter, it's if the year ended now, what are our top albums of 2025? So Rich Paiva will be joining us with our new full-time member of Clean and Sober Stoner, S. Patrick Brooks from the Heavy Underground Farm Report. So folks, be sure to be sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss that. I'm getting good at that.
You are good. You're like an influencer or something.
He just slid that right in there.
Yeah. I still am goofy saying that stuff. I want to hear more of Jay's list.
I do too. I want nothing but Jay's list. If I can avoid hearing Rich's, we're good.
It's very close to this. By the way, first Saigon Kick record, number 10 all time for me on my list.
Yeah, it's a good record as well.
Okay, we're going to have to do a follow-up on top 10. Yeah, I'm like Julie, whenever I say that's a top 10 for me, she's like, dude, unless I see the list, I don't want to hear it. Because from what I remember, you have 75 top 10 albums.
Yeah, but 8 out of 10 are from the 90s. 1 is from the 2000s, and 1 is from the 70s, just so you know, for my top 10 of all time. Okay. But that's me.
Jay,
we're talking about Jay right now.
Yeah, Jay.
So I'll continue with my list. These two albums definitely changed my life playing drums. Along with the album that came before the first one I'm going to mention, Primus, Selling the Seas of Cheese, and Pork Soda in the 90s where it was at. Of course, Frizzle Fry was out in 89, and that was a great album. Herb, opened my eyes to different ways for me to play drums.
Right.
Did crazy fit and crazy time signatures and challenged me. I had to learn the songs. It was one of those. Neil Peart did that to me with Rush as well. I got to learn that fucking drum part.
Yeah.
So Herb was that way as well. Those two albums are great. The next 3 on my list are all from Seattle.
All right.
Oh, thank God.
I got Facelift, Dirt, and Jar of Flies from Alice in Chains.
I have Jar of Flies where I have the little plastic flies in the spine.
Jealous of that.
You should be jealous.
Soundgarden, Bad Motor Finger, Super Unknown, and Down on the Upside. All 3 of them are great albums.
Down on the Upside, a forgotten classic. That was like their equivalent of, I'd say, Never Say Die by Sabbath. Man, I love that album.
And
pretty news.
Killer all song. The bands I'm going to mention today, Soundgarden has the best singer. Nobody's ever going to top Chris Cornell for me. Robert Plant comes in a cool 2 for me.
Yeah.
But Chris Cornell, I got to see Soundgarden 4 days before he died.
Oh my God.
I had never seen Chris Cornell live before. It was the first time I got to see him. It was at Carolina Rebellion at the racetrack down in Charlotte. And it was like Incubus and them and Muse on the same stage. And getting to see Chris Cornell live was enthralling for me. And then, of course, 4 days later, I was crying like a baby because
Yeah.
we
I
lost
still
the title
feel
with
that
Mike
one.
on.
And that got swept under the rug. The
Yeah.
whole, because he was on specific antidepressants where that is a known documented, and we still haven't done anything, to curb that. So
Yeah.
I take that one a little personally. Was Soundgarden the band kicked off of
No,
didn't share?
no.
Did she ever come out and say
no? But she will. She will.
No,
Yeah.
no. She's a. This is what she does, and we all buy into it. I'm not going to miss Sharon.
The third Seattle band is Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
10 for me was the album.
Yeah.
Versus and Vitality, also in the 90s, were fantastic. I like the drummer in Versus and Vitality better. I talked to Dave online sometimes. I met him many, many years ago at a Modern Drummer Festival in Montclair, New Jersey, and he taught me all kinds of exercises so I don't get carpal tunnel syndrome. And I still have that pamphlet somewhere. I don't do them as often as I should, and I still wind up clawed up sometimes. But
yeah,
Pearl Jam, that 10 album was so good, start to finish.
Well, it was also the introduction of actual fretless bass by Jeff Ament that, as a bass player, changed my entire approach to bass playing. He was one of the most melodic bass players, kind of in the same vein as Jack Bruce. He's still, to this day, vastly underrated bassist.
Yeah, they kind of lost me a little bit after Versus and Vitality. It started getting a little weird for me, and I faded off from being a regular Pearl Jam listener. Yeah. I still go back to those 3 albums, so in particular.
While we're on Seattle, can I mention a couple of things? I brought some props for this. Number 1. This. Can you see this?
Yes, I have that.
Yeah.
I have the CD.
I'm showing you this. Apple is one of my favorite records of all time, but I'm just flexing that I have an OG Shine EP.
Yeah.
Mother Love Bone, amazing. I think ahead of their time. I think the punks thought they sounded too hair metally, but what they had going on and what they created, to me, Apple is one of the best records that have ever been created. I also want to mention Grunt Truck.
Man, I could not wrap my head. I have that album on CD, and I consider that mid-level slop.
I understand. I love this record. Grunt Truck is one of my favorite bands from that era. Ben McMillan, R.I.P. All the stuff that Jack and Dino did to produce this band. Skin Yard beforehand. Love them. The third Seattle band that I want to call out that I think came out at a wrong time is My Sister's Machine. My Sister's Machine they almost sounded too much like Alice in Chains for their own good. Right. But if you take, just like at the time when STP got a little gruff for sounding too much like Pearl Jam, My Sister's Machine sounded a little too much like Alice in Chains, and they came out a little bit too late. Just 3, but we could spend a whole show.
I need to throw another Seattle band out there.
Please.
The Walkabouts. And
awesome
I swear to God, half the bands I listen to that I really, especially if they're doing harmonies and if they have female vocals, it's like, I swear to God, they heard the Walkabouts. The hair's standing up on my skin. Are they on your list, Jay?
They're not.
One more Seattle comment, just because I can't not. Gary Lee Conner came on my show, which is I could not believe that Gary Lee Conner came on my show. Screaming Trees, another one of my top bands.
Yeah.
To me, they're more of a psych band than they are anything else. Best part of that show, that I had Gary Lee on, was how much he said he hated the Spin Doctors. Nothing made me happier than when he said that on the show.
I saw Screaming Trees open for, I think, what was that one? Something about Train Soul Asylum.
Yeah, that was the Alternative Nation tour. That's what he was talking about. Yeah.
And Spin Doctors were in there, and like, I have a whole story that I'm not gonna, but I just went there for Screaming Trees. I was ready to go home, and to see Mark Lanigan in person kill. Yeah. Like, it was better than the albums. So all hail Seattle. See what you started, Jay?
Yeah,
we usually don't have anything to say, and you've
I'm
got
gonna
us,
I'm gonna
man.
get into some really obscure stuff here in a minute.
Okay,
Oh, let's do it.
okay.
I'm
So
pumped.
am
I'm
I.
pumped
And
for
this
this.
is Jersey and New York coming out in me.
Okay.
So there was a band in Jersey that I grew up with called Mucky Pup.
Mucky Pup.
They were a punky band. They got the 3 albums they released in the 90s were Now, Active Faith, and Lemonade. Lemonade could have been commercially successful if they were on the right label. Like, there were some songs in there. I was blown away that Chris and his brother could even write these. Because, you know, they had songs on their first album called Batman the Butt Ripper. I mean, there was
How do I not know this?
crazy punk songs. But I still talk to Chris to this day. Love those guys. Wish they were still making music. Chris is out in the toy scene. He goes to like cons and has toys and stuff.
Okay.
Which I would very much do myself. I'm also into that stuff. The second really obscure one, and I think you're gonna love this, Rich. Mindfunk self-titled.
Oh, wait. I brought another prop. I brought Dropped with me. Because Dropped, it was to me a forgotten classic there. The Mindfunk first record. I remember buying that at the Wiz in the Massapequa Mall, and it came with a t-shirt, and I wore that t-shirt under my lacrosse jersey for every one of my games. It was my Mindfunk t-shirt. Oh, what a great record that was.
The third really obscure one, it's a little further down on my list, but I'm going to skip to it so I can keep them all in the same. There was a band called Nonfiction in the 90s. They put out 2 albums, Preface and In the Know. Nonfiction had Dan Lorenzo, who's in Patriarchs in Black now, with Johnny Kelly from Type O Negative and Carl Gell singing on a lot of that stuff. And Alan Tecchio sang for that band. They were both in Hades in the 80s. Were also great. I wish we were talking about 80s music. I talk about Hades all day.
Well, that'll be
next
like
week.
in
We're up on those
October. We will do 80s. Jay, you're coming back. I'm already telling you. Yes, we will do an 80s show.
But if you have not heard the Nonfiction album, go find them somewhere. I bought they actually have 3 albums, one that never got released in the U.S. And they released them this year on a German label on vinyl, and I got all 3 of them.
Jay, do you have this on a spreadsheet or a Word document?
I have it on
my spreadsheet.
I have a Google Keep document that I can turn into a Word document and send
Oh,
you.
you can just send me the Google Keep.
Yeah, cool.
Because I want to make certain that I'm putting every one of your albums. It's in the description of the video. Because
Cool.
I'm not going to be able to keep up and find this stuff. It'll take me forever.
Yeah.
So Jay, as a guy in New York and New Jersey at the time, I have a few questions for you.
Yeah.
I grew up on Long Island. Then I went to school in Buffalo, so I was a Northeasterner for till like 98. A couple bands I want to ask you about. Life of Agony. Were you into Life of Agony? Okay, excellent.
I know them.
Your view on Type O Negative?
So I wasn't. Type O Negative now for me is fantastic, but then I just couldn't get into it. It was I felt like it was the emo kids music.
Interesting.
You know, I felt like I don't know if you watch South Park, but the emo kids that flip their hair all the time, that was Type O Negative for me.
Got it. Understood.
My biological daughter, who lives in Atlanta, is named Lily after a lyric in Type O Negative song where he says "Lily Monster." Her mom is amazing. Like, he loves Type O Negative. That was her band.
Excellent. Third one I want to ask you about, and I'm going to ask you about, this is on the obscure tip, but since you mentioned Saigon Kick, you might know these guys. Are you familiar with a band called Law and Order?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of the album, but I remember it being a purplish album cover.
Yeah, that was the first one. The second one is the one I really, really liked that nobody else in the world liked except for me.
Yeah, they were really good. They were like bluesy hair rock.
Yeah.
This is the best way to say it. But they were solid. Amongst all the hair band bullshit that we were having thrown at us, like, that one was acceptable for me for sure.
Good. Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure that you were aware. This is wonderful.
We are still on the same page.
So happy. Yes, we absolutely are.
This is also obscure. And there's three of them that came out in the 90s. These are all songs that were not made in the 90s, but these albums came out in the 90s. Frank Zappa's You Can't Do That on Stage Anymore, volume 3, 4, and 5 were all in the 90s. And there's songs from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s on there. Frank was my first music idol. I don't know how that happened, but it was a thing. And I've listened to the entire discography. It's a lot.
That is a lot.
There is a shit ton of albums.
I was introduced to them. I worked at a music store in college. I worked at Music Plus, which was Blockbuster Music at the time. And there was a guy there who was a huge Zappa fan. But the only one we could really play in the store was strictly commercial because it didn't have any of the swears in it.
Yep.
And that was my intro to Zappa. I'm also reading the Alice Cooper, the bass player in the original Alice Cooper band. And they signed with Zappa's label. Zappa, I'll have to send you also, I have an interview with Zappa. It's like a radio interview where I've never gone back and listened to an interview like 10 times like I have with that one. I'll share it with you because I think you'll really like it.
What was extra special for me with Zappa is he got involved in politics later in his life. Both when the PMRC was wanting to do warning labels on records here, he went before Congress and spoke. And then later in his life, in the Czech Republic, he actually stood up for their president and went to the Czech Republic and helped them get fair and free elections and democratic elections in the Czech Republic.
Didn't he have something to do with the Constitution as well?
What was it?
The Czech Constitution.
Yeah,
I think he consulted on that. Yeah.
Yes, he did. If you haven't seen it, there's a documentary that came out like 2 years ago, maybe. It was the guy in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure that's not Keanu Reeves.
The one from the Lost Boys.
Yeah. He was the director on it, and it's called Zap.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
He did another documentary too, not just the Zappa one, but yeah, I remember that. I was introduced to Frank Zappa. I need to throw this out there for all the boomers. The Dr. Demento show, and they played Don't Eat the Yellow Snow, and that was my introduction to Frank. And the Monkees. He was on the Monkees, where him and Mike Nesmith switched and did each other's characters. So the Monkees and Dr. Demento. Okay, boomers represent.
Yep. Yeah, Frank's got to be on the list for me. I was trying to find 90s stuff, and all of his best stuff is really in the 80s.
Yeah.
And the 70s. And even the 60s with the Mother's Invention stuff. But I'll move away from the
Freak Out. Freak Out certainly applies today.
Yeah.
I'm not black, but there's a whole lots of times I wish I could say I'm not white. I need to make it.
I read a book called The Negative Dialects of Poodle Play. It was about 1,200 pages, and it was the drums on it. And I, like Walter, I have an addiction with Josh Freese as well.
Live Fast Diarrhea by the Vandals. All the Vandal stuff, Jay. I went with Jay, with Josh playing with Vandals.
But yeah, I discovered Alanis Morissette in a strip club.
Mine is not a strip club related, but I have a good Alanis story as well. Went to college in Buffalo. Got a lot of Canadian music influence from over the border, so we got to hear that this was coming. And she was like a pop star prior to this. So we used to just drive to Toronto and go to every show that we could. And Alanis Morissette was playing, and the single had just kind of come out. It was on like this sampler that we had. And we went, it was a small club, and we were sitting right where all the record executives were sitting. And she came out and like blew it away, and they were all high-fiving. So I went over and I was high-fiving with all of them. And who do I high-five? But Tom Arnold. I don't know why, but Tom Arnold was at this club in Toronto watching the Alanis Morissette show. Taylor Hawkins was on drums for that show. A band named Loud Lucy from Chicago opened up, who were also really good. They had one record, I believe. But yeah, that Alanis record is, it's...
and there was a part of the 90s, and she's the only one that made it to my list, but there was a part of the 90s where these female-fronted bands or female-fronted solo acts like took over my life for a little bit. Sheryl Crow came out. Natalie Merchant. Like... Bjork. I mean, there's so many in that time period that came out that were so good. Why can't I think of her name right now? Plays piano. Tori Amos.
Tori Amos, yeah.
Tori Amos, another one. You wouldn't think the drummer from Holy Roller would listen to Tori Amos' album, but I would fucking rock that in a heartbeat. So good. But Alanis is the only one that made my list. But I'm glad we talked about the other ones real quick. So I really wish that Nothing Shocking came out in the 1990s, but it came out in '88. But I've had to put Ritual De Los Habitual on here from Jane's Addiction.
Great
an
album.
amazing band.
It's the only album of theirs that I really dig. Love that band.
Well,
Love
Nothing
that
Shocking.
album.
Nothing Shocking for me. Mountain Song. Another song that changed my life playing drums. I got to meet Stephen Perkins a few years back. He was doing a drum clinic here in the area with my buddy Tracy Thornton, who, if you haven't heard Tracy, he does a thing called Pan Rocks. He's a steel drum player. He's done a steel drum tribute to the Ramones. He did a whole thing with Portnoy on drums, doing rock songs. He did a Pan Rocks Rush, where they're doing rock songs. Fantastic. But Tracy brought him in, and I got to meet Perkins, and I got to tell him to his face that Mountain Song changed my life. Like the way you were playing your toms, and he had kind of African influence to the way he was playing, opened my eyes to more to some different styles of playing drums as well. Between Primus and James, like those were two of my hugest influences during the '90s, for my playing at least. But yeah, I had to bring up Ritual. So many good songs on that. We got 3 more left on my list.
Okay.
9 Inch Nails, Downward Spiral. For a '90s album. They had better '80s albums, but Downward Spiral was solid. And then after that, they kind of just lost. If I want to listen to a movie soundtrack, listen to a movie soundtrack. Not what I want to hear when I listen to 9 Inch Nails. Another album that stayed in my cassette deck forever. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Yeah.
Just amazing song start to finish. It was different from what anybody else was doing at the time. They had some earlier albums that I liked too, but that one really caught me.
Oh, it was a huge leap from Mother's Milk. It was like a different band.
Well, and I think part of it too is anything that Rick Rubin touches turns to gold.
Absolutely.
Not in the past 30 years.
Whatever he's done, you can forgive him for, considering everything else that he did, I would say.
He did the Johnny
Black
Cash
Sabbath 13 is an unlistenable, compressed brick of nothing.
If you look at my top 200 albums of all time, I'm pretty sure that he did 1, 2... He's got 3 of them in my top 25 of all time. And that's just those 3.
And then the final band, and I've seen them live so many freaking times. Incubus, Science and Make Yourself both came out in the '90s. Science was a ridiculously good album. Make Yourself was more commercial, but those are songs that everybody still sings today. Like that band stuck with everybody. I've seen them so many times. I got the pleasure of going to the V-Fest in Baltimore the year that the Police did the reunion tour. And that's the only reason I wanted to go, was to see the Police, because I didn't say this on the Holy Roller interview, but Stuart Copeland was the reason I played drums. So I was 6 years old. My Uncle Ronnie put a vinyl copy of, why am I having so much trouble tonight? I think it's because I woke up at 5:30 when to go to work. It was Regatta Del Bar. And I was playing violin at the time as a 6-year-old, but I was really fucking shitty at it. My mom would yell, she's like, please put that thing down. So he saw me air drumming, and he literally called my dad and said, sell the violin, get that boy a drum kit. And the rest is kind of history. So I had the pleasure of, I went to see my Uncle Ronnie, who's in his 70s now, up in Connecticut 2 years ago, and I got to bring him a copy of the Swimming Witches album. And I was like, here's a copy of this on vinyl. He's like, what is this? I'm like, that's my album. He's like, you're on vinyl? Yeah, I'm on vinyl.
Amazing.
Just the whole, circle completeness self thing. But at Virgin Fest, that's where I started with that. On the same stage, I got to see Ben Harper and the Innocent Criminals, Amy Winehouse, Incubus, and the Beastie Boys back to back to back to back.
Wow.
I didn't move for it was a good 2.5 hours. I was crossed up against the stage. I had to take a piss. I don't give a shit. I'll piss on myself. I ain't moving. That particular 4 in a row was ridiculously good.
That is ridiculously good.
Yeah, Incubus, Science to Make Yourself, fantastic albums. And that's what I got for the 90s. I mean, there's way more.
Okay.
So, Jay, I think I'm going to talk to you offline if Scott allows me to maybe make you and me have a regular 90s show where we talk about our obscure love of this stuff. I don't want to steal.
Let you. I have no.
But this is it's coming from this. But anyway, I want to name a couple of other albums real quick. I know we've been on for a while.
I do too. By the way, I get my turn.
Excellent. I'm going to start with Failure, Fantastic Planet. One of the most underrated rock records ever. I just remembered that their documentary is probably now on Hulu, and I need to go watch that. I am an unabashedly huge fan of Stone Temple Pilots. I think that you put their singles with any of the other bands that came out at that time, they can hang. I think they are underrated as how good of a band that they were. Couple other ones I want to call out: the '90s Suicidal Tendency stuff. Love it. The Art of Rebellion, underrated record. Love The Art of Rebellion. Obviously, Lights Camera came out in '90. Love that too. And just when I go back to my list of top 200 of all time, Shudder to Think, Pony Express record, the DC hardcore scene, Discord records, they were the weird thing about Shudder to Think is that they got weirder when they signed to a major label. Pony Express record, one of my favorite records of all time. Danzig, Lucifuge, the second Danzig record. The way that the sound that record makes, I know, deep sigh. I understand. I also, and you might deep sigh at this one too, because they had this big hit, but the Blind Melon first record is end to end perfect in my eyes.
I have to agree.
And the last one I will mention would be the record that is my, whatever you call that on all my social medias, Trouble, Manic Frustration. That record to me is perfect. Anyway, there's so much. Like as Jay mentioned, we could do this for hours, which makes me think we should do this for hours, Jay.
I think you should. And,
yeah.
And back to your thing, of course you should do it. As part you can have Rich and Jay's 90s half hour.
It would be like 4 hours. Scott, but you had some too.
I do.
What you have.
And like I'm so going against my own type here, with the exception of
I'm gonna light a
Filter.
cigarette for that.
Yeah, Filter, I think was a fantastic band. I think Ministry should definitely
Ministry.
Yeah, Ministry was on my list and off my list and on my list and off my list. I love them.
Mine came out in the 80s, though, right? And in case you didn't feel like showing up, I think came out in the late 80s.
Yeah.
I
know
their
better stuff came out in the late 80s.
Late 80s, but Psalm 69 came out in the 90s.
That was a great record.
So again, life-changing album. Filter was that bridge. Filter brought people to Nine Inch Nails, brought Nine Inch Nails over. I mean, they were like the bridge between Nine Inch Nails and Prong. And I think Title of the Record is just an all-time classic album. But
I got to see them at Rockville, by the way. They just still sound good. And the song "Hey Man, Nice Shot" is still one of the best songs of the 90s. It is, and it gets everybody going and everyone's screaming.
And I'm going to throw
out, it was fun.
Where I discovered Nine Inch Nails, Filter, was watching ECW wrestling.
Nice.
And they have that "Hey Man, Nice Shot" when they're doing some sort of promo.
Do we have to do a wrestling show now too? Because
I discovered Orange Goblin.
We'll do a 90s show. You guys do a wrestling show.
So on the Stoner Doom side, so the first wave of stoner and stoner metal being Sleep and Caius and all that ended in but they're still 90s. Acid King to me is the ultimate 90s band. By the way, the fourth pillar of Stoner Doom, I take Electric Wizard off and put Acid King on. There's so much that came out in the 90s. You had Natasha came out in the 90s, Lowrider, that whole second wave of Stoner Doom, which I did discover. But to go off character, Sarah McLachlan has to be mentioned. Fumbling Towards Ecstasy is a brilliant album, start to finish.
It's I have a copy of that autographed in my record room. One of my wife's favorite records. And even before I knew her, again, living in Buffalo, getting that Canadian influence, somebody played Fumbling. And I'm like, holy
what
shit.
Is this? And yes. And she kind of edged into psychedelia quite a bit on that album. I think it's groundbreaking. But I think if I think of my top 10 underrated bands of all time, Cowboy Junkies. I mean, the 90s had, Pale Sun, Crescent Moon. They had Lay It Down, Miles from Home. I mean, geez. Cowboy Junkies to me is the ultimate 90s. And then I would throw in 11 as an aftershock. But yeah,
Cowboy Junkies, one of the top 3 Velvet Underground covers of, I would say, with their slow version of Sweet Jane.
I discovered
Excellent
that watching Natural Born Killers, which was a nasty rendition. That's like the Reservoir Dog scene. And he's cutting the guy's ear off. I could talk about 90s forever. I don't think we even scratched the surface, to be honest.
I do want to mention 2 more things real quick. I'm talking about Stone Temple Pilots, and when I was at that V-Fest, Velvet Revolver played with Slash on guitar and my man singing, and they were fucking terrible.
Yeah,
it really bummed me out so bad.
Yeah, not a Velvet Revolver guy personally, but STP up to up through their 5 albums, but 4 you could go. To me, the first 4 records are all pretty much perfect. But
the second thing, and I think it came out in the 90s. I'm going to add a soundtrack to my list. The movie was fucking horrible, but the soundtrack is gold. I got it last year on Record Store Day. Judgment Night.
Oh, I love that sound. I
love Another Victim.
That's got like all the hip hop and hard rock acts going with each other.
Just Another Victim.
Yeah. They Helmet played that when they were on that tour. They obviously didn't have the House of Pain stuff with it, but Faith No More did a song with Booyah Tribe.
Another Body Murdered.
Right.
Such a good album. Definitely, like, we were talking about soundtracks at work the other day, and I was like, there's a soundtrack you guys have to hear. Like, and I know you guys are all about rap and modern music, but if you want to hear like some fucking rap, check this album out.
Yeah,
that's a great record. That album was the birth of nu metal. It just, once we discovered, us white boys discovered that you could count on the two and add a little sizzle to your fizzle. But speaking of soundtracks, come on, singles.
Yeah. We talked about
so we almost everybody almost got marked safe from having to hear about Smashing Pumpkins.
Gish was amazing, by the way. The first record is amazing.
It was a top 100 album for me, probably
without a doubt. I can still listen to Siamese Dream. After that, my buddy will kill me for this, but Melancholy is just so much. It's just so like self-indulgent. It's like Billy Corrigan saying, "Look at how wonderful I am," and Billy Corrigan recently saying how he pretty much invented grunge and guitars and breathing. He's a lot, but Gish.
Can't touch it. So I saw Soundgarden at the Warfield in 1992, and we're leaving, and I see on the display next week, Screaming Trees, Smashing Pumpkins. We were making fun of the names of all these kids today. We're, like 29. Wish I could go back in time. I would have gotten tickets to that concert because Screaming Trees were touring Sweet Oblivion, and Siamese. Anyway, Smashing Pumpkins would have been touring Gish.
What year was Sepultura's Beneath the Remains?
I think that was
I want to say 87.
Yeah, I think it was 80s.
All right, so then this is an 80s story. At the Ritz in New York City on Halloween, I went to see, it was their first ever American show, Sepultura, Sacred Reich, and King Diamond.
Damn. Ooh. I'd love to see King Diamond live. Yeah, that's amazing. Now you mentioning just Smashing Pumpkins and Screaming Trees and that band name just reminds me of one of my favorite Simpsons episodes where Homer meets the Smashing Pumpkins and he goes, "Hi, I'm Billy Corrigan, Smashing Pumpkins." And he goes, "Hi, I'm Homer Simpson," smiling politely.
By the way, Morbid Visions was 1986 with Sepultura. Beneath the Remains was 89. So that means Arise, Chaos AD, Roots, and Against are all. I mean, Chaos AD was another life-changing. Another one I got to throw out there, though, was Masters of Reality.
89, 88.
Sunrise on
Sunrise,
the
okay. Yes. Sunrise came out in 92.
Look, we're going to the fringes now.
You try. Well, that's not fringe.
No, I'm saying of the 90s. Fringes of the 90s.
We're on the borderline. The blue out.
So audience, we need serious audience participation and feedback. If you liked what we did, I think that it gets a little boring having, two reviewers. I loved having an actual band member. Jay, you exceeded expect. You blew my mind. I haven't had this much fun. I didn't even talk that much, which is rare for my ass. Jay, you're invited almost anytime. If you get a hair up your butt and go, "Hey, let's do this," and we'll bring the gang. Next time, though, we will have S. Patrick Brooks with us. Cool. I just wanted this to be between us friends.
If there's four of us, we're like an hour and 20 minutes right now. If there's four of us, probably be a 2-hour show.
Yeah. Well, except for I'll edit that bitch down to 20 of the best minutes. And Jay, you've been such a good friend of the channel. You've been a good friend. I can't believe this is the first time we've talked. I got to listen to the masters of Rat King before you had a title and you retitled things. I think I dropped the ball when I wrote your liner notes. All I wrote was who wrote what and who drummed. Did you guys actually want me to write my experience, like the old school?
Yeah, so I was looking for kind of your take on the album.
Yeah, I suck.
Almost like an intro to a book.
I'm so shy, right, that I didn't want to overstep. I apologize for not late. It was an opportunity lost.
Oh, no, it's
Will
fine.
you give me?
I still gave you an album credit, though.
You did?
Yeah, for liner notes.
Oh, give me another shot. Give me another shot. The next album, because Holy Roller, we're going to end with my Holy Roller story. I don't like North Carolina. I don't like living here. I'm a northern boy. I've lived in Ohio. I've lived in Montana and also Northern California. And it was the album had just come out on Black Doomba, and I am miserable barbecuing, right? So I put this weird album on with his head floating in why it was weird. I had no idea about. Goddamn, every time I barbecue, I have to listen to Holy Roller because it took me to it let me. I could feel the humidity in your music. I could feel the southern, and then I heard the lyrics and I'm like, oh my God, this is some of the most subversive, anti, fake Christianity, anti-evangelical bullshit, and I became a fan. So you reaching out to me like you did a year ago, I was so starstruck that I was afraid to make a mistake. But Holy Roller means the world to me. Holy Roller allowed me to understand Southern culture a little different, which led me to bands like Dope Scum, Ember, Wind Rider, and then Doomsday Prophet, and now Crystal Spiders. So I can't thank you guys enough.
Well, thank you.
Really
that means the world for us. The guys will obviously watch this, and I'm sure they'll have the
we'll
same
get at least 3
reaction.
views and 2 likes.
Yeah, at least. But yeah, I mean, and it's weird that album that you're talking about, Swimming Witches, didn't start out like that and then turned into what it turned into. And I'm certainly like the album, but I certainly like Rat King better. But we did have some really cool guests on that album. We had Karan from Battlecross played a solo for us. Greg from Allegiance played a solo for us. These are all guys that Adam used to tour with when he was in Wretched and Glass Caskets. He'd go out with Battlecross. He'd go out with, Greg's bands and stuff. And I think he played for Legion one time. And then we had Peter Witchers from Soulwork to do a solo for us.
Okay.
So it was cool to have the guest stars. Arl had agreed to do a song on this album, but I couldn't find one that worked.
Okay.
I didn't see Carl's voice over any of the 8 songs we did. Okay. So I'll get him on the next album though.
But again, Holy Roller is my gateway, and you opened my mind, my heart, and I just have had, I'm ready to tear up. I've had such a rich experience getting to know the scene around here. But to me, the beginning, it rises and sets on Holy Roller. So this is a big effing deal for me.
I appreciate that. If I'm synonymous with barbecue and brisket, I have fucking made it.
It was actually pulled pork. I was doing Carolina style pulled pork.
So
I was doing a pork shoulder, but it doesn't matter if I'm doing ribs, chicken, anything. To this day, Holy Roller goes on my headphones whenever I barbecue.
We could, I could find a way to market that.
We should. Yeah. Maybe I can take pictures and use it for the album cover, and it'll be kind of like
we do a Holy Roller barbecue sauce.
Yeah, there you go.
That funny you say that. I'm actually thinking of working with somebody on a Clean and Sober Stoner a hot sauce and a possible collaboration for Clean and Sober Stoner beard, although my beard's horrible. Jay, I actually have to get going.
Cool. I'm gonna go eat dinner. I literally came home from work, changed into a 90 shirt from my collared shirt I was wearing earlier today, so my corporate overlord could be happy. And came right on here and did this. I'm gonna go eat dinner and probably chill for a little bit and then go to bed. Do it all again tomorrow, 5:30 in the morning. And
Rich, I respect the hell out of you. So if you guys, however, because of the IP, it's like you had, if you do a separate thing, you have to put inspired by Clean and Sober Stoner.
Oh, don't worry. We will absolutely plug the beard stuff, the hot sauce, whatever the hell you got going on.
The future Holy Roller barbecue sauce, all of it.
We will plug the shit out of that.
I can let you guys know. We actually got a shipment of Clean and Sober Stoner shirts, and we didn't sell one when we were in Asheville. I forgot. I used to be in marketing for years, so I might have you start hawking my shirts.
I've got an Obelisk hat and shirt. I would love to have a Clean and Sober Stoner shirt.
Jay, you're going to get a Clean and Sober Stoner shirt.
Oh, where
are you playing next? When can I see Holy Roller?
We're off for July. August 1st, we're going to be at Ground Zero in Spartanburg. Okay. August 15th, we're going to be back in North Carolina in Charlotte at Amos the South End, supporting Witch Pit on their 10th anniversary show. Love those boys. Almost was their drummer. I was almost doing Holy Roller and Witch Pit. I actually auditioned, but it was like a 3-hour each way trip for me to go rehearse, and that was not going to work out.
Okay.
But learned all their songs in the first album and went down and played with them. And I love Jeremy as a drummer. I'm glad he's playing with them as well as Cosmic Reaper. And then we got a shit ton of stuff in September. We're doing a Georgia run with Crystal Spiders. We'll be in.
There's the lineup I want to catch.
We'll be in Gainesville, Georgia on the 13th, and at Blackstrap, and we'll be at Boggs in Atlanta on the 14th. So
I don't remember all this stuff, Jay.
Yeah. I don't know. It means more to me than the work I do at work, and so it stays up here.
Well, I can't wait to have you back again. On behalf of everybody at Clean and Sober Stoner, thanks for watching. And folks, really, let us know. Did this work for you? And what else do you want to hear us do? So thanks again, and I will see you all later. Don't go anywhere.
Thanks for having me.